graves linked to one of the worst incidents of racial violence in our country's history. Researchers in Tulsa used ground-penetrating radar to survey 3 sites. They found irregularities at 2 of those sites that could be with large-scale burials. Omar Villafranca is in Tulsa. Omar, this could ultimately enter a new chapter in American history that most people have never, ever heard of. Good morning to you.
Good morning. You're right. And not just black history. You're right. This is American history. This is the Greenwood neighborhood, also known as Black Wall Street. You had tailors, banks, grocery stores, tax services, all black-owned businesses. But in 1921, a white mob burned it to the ground, and as many as 300 black residents were killed. That's what's depicted there on the letter K. History had basically almost forgotten about this, but the city of Tulsa is digging up the past and trying to heal old wounds. This was all part of the Greenwood area.
Yes, the building sat where his parking lot was.
Photojournalist Kevin Ross says he's grateful that a tragic, little-known part of Tulsa history is now coming to light.
For decades, it was hush-hush. Even some of the survivors that I interviewed, they were quiet and telling, oh, and the white people did this. They were whispering in their own homes because they were brought up not talking about what happened.
It happened on these streets in 1921. Much of the Tulsa neighborhood of Greenwood was burned to the ground by a white mob. The group clashed with several armed black men who had gathered to protect a black shoe shiner who was unjustly accused of assaulting a white woman. After a shot was fired, violence broke out and hundreds of black people were massacred. Ross's great-grandfather was forced to flee the city after his business was destroyed.
You had explosions, you had people running for their lives. It was just hell on earth.
The horror was brought to life in the premiere episode of HBO's new series, Watchmen. Witnesses reported seeing bodies put in mass graves, but local officials hid evidence of any crimes.
Along the fence line.
At a public forum Monday, scientists confirmed they discovered what appears to be an underground pit, roughly 30 by 25 feet, which they say is large enough to bury up to 100 bodies.
But I'm as confident as I can be in the results that this is a very good candidate for something associated with the massacre.
G.T. Bynum is Tulsa's mayor.
It's very powerful. It's the first time that we've had anyone say that from a technical standpoint in an open forum in a meeting like this or to us.
Scientists are now planning to do additional surveys that could lead to excavations.
We don't know what the preservation will be like, and even if the preservation is truly excellent, we don't know who we'll find in there.
How soon would you like to see excavation?
I would like to see excavation by the spring. You know, we waited too long. We know where they are. Let's go get them.
The city wants to continue scanning early next year. Now, to give you a little bit more perspective, 35 blocks were burned to the ground. One of the few things that survived that massacre was the basement of this church here. Everything you see above ground was built afterwards. And church leaders in this community say if remains are found, they want them relocated here to the Black Wall Street area, and they want to build a memorial. Tony?
Well, that'd be appropriate. Omar, thank you very much. This was deliberately kept out of textbooks for years. So what's happening now is a powerful reckoning in history.
An important piece of history that should not be forgotten.
Exactly. It's a stunning story. I only heard about it 10 years ago, and I was embarrassed that I'd never heard it. Either of you?
I only heard about it last
It's
year.
funny. I spoke to a friend of mine a couple years ago had said, you all should really look into doing a piece on Black Wall Street, and because it is something that you don't necessarily hear a lot about.
Hey, you see that, man? That's prophecy being fulfilled. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash, which is the Paleo Hebrew for the name of the Heavenly Father being Yahweh, and that of His Son being Yahweh Shai, the only names in which salvation can be obtained, whether you can receive it or not. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, rule all of the nation of Israel well today. Once again, whether you can receive that or not. And peace, love, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect of the house of Israel, who are pushing this truth, in sincerity, and in charity, and in faith. All right? And who are able to receive these things that are needful for salvation. And as you see here, man, you know, Esau, more examples of Esau being exposed, man. But this is something that has been pushed severely, by the brethren, out on the highways and the byways and doing their sit downs and what have you. And it's finally being brought out, to a greater light, man. And it's shameful towards Esau, man. I mean, what you saw here was shameful spewing being brought unto him. And let's go ahead and get into some scriptures, man. Because what this was prophecy being fulfilled, man. Esau is being exposed on all levels. It's going into Habakkuk chapter 2. This is verse 12. It says, "Woe to him that build a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity." All right, and you just saw an example of that, man. A town built by blood and a city by iniquity. What it was Jake was thriving, and Esau couldn't have it, man. So Esau went and destroyed that whole city, man, turned it into a war zone to the point where the only thing that remained was one basement of a building. All right, just leveled the entire town. And yet they said that the officials, the police, covered everything up. The governor, everybody had their hands in on that, man. All these Edomites had their hands in on that. None of them paid for it. They covered everything up because they knew what they did was unjust. They destroyed the entire town, man. And Jake has never recovered from that. You've never seen another town be created to mimic that of Black Wall Street, man. All right? And ultimately, that's because this ain't our rest. All right? You ain't ever going to see us being our rest on this side because we're not there yet, man. All right? Our rest is going to be in the kingdom. That's when you're about to see, that's when Esau is really going to be jealous, man. But anyway, let's go ahead and go on. It says, I'll go ahead and just jump to the main point. This is Habakkuk 2:16. It reads, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered." Right? What's that mean? To be exposed, man. And that's what you just saw here in this news article was Esau being exposed. They're actually talking about Black Wall Street on mainstream news, which shows you that it's just being generalized to the public, man. So Esau is being shown, all right, according to the devil he is, man. And still, even this that's being brought out, it's not enough to prove everything that Esau was doing. All right, because they covered everything up, man. All we're able to find now is proof by evidence, man. They found those bodies, so now it's coming out. They can't hide it no more, man. All right, and you know what? The Brotherhood been out there condemning them on this as well, man. All right, Esau's just getting backed up into that corner, and that's why they're trying to label us as violent and what have you, man. Because their next step is going to be exactly what they did to Black Wall Street. It says, Salakia. It says, "The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned to thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." Right? Shameful spewing, man. What's that mean? That means that people are spewing these things that are shameful towards Esau, man. He was once looked at as glorious, but now everybody's talking about him, man. All right, you just had Edomites and Jakes, on that in that newsroom, all shamefully spewing about Esau, man. All right, let me go ahead and jump to Lamentations 3. And it reads, Salakia, that's not the right spot. This is Lamentations 4:21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. that dwellest in the land of Uz. It's talking about the Edomites, the forefather of the so-called Caucasian, the Caucasoid. The cup also shall pass through unto thee, right? Because we just saw the works of Esau, man. Mass grave, he hid everything. They didn't pay for any of that, man. There are still people that are alive that didn't pay for that, and they're not even trying to go after him. But yet they're still over here arresting Nazis. They're finding these old men and putting them in cuffs and taking them in, but yet they can't find these guys. But you know what? The Heavenly Father is going to put that punishment on them, man. That's why he's allowing them to cover it up the way that they are. All right. It says, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. And what's that cup? That's the cup that he's given us, man. Everything that he's done, as it is written, Galatians 6 and 7, that what a man soweth, that shall he also reap. All right. The things that he did, he's going to pay for, man. All right. It says, thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked, right? Because it's being made known what he's been doing, man. All right, as you saw, verse 22, it says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, right? O daughter of Zion, daughter of Israel. Okay, our punishment, our iniquity is through, man. It's done. All right, it's being completed. But now it's about time for Esau to pay for his iniquity, man. All right, which is being brought to light. It says, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins, right? It's time for Esau to pay. The only reason why we're in captivity is because of our own transgressions, man. And that's going to be made known too. Let me grab that. This is Ezekiel 39. And I forget exactly what verse, but I know it's around here. God, here it is. Verse 23. It says, For the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. Right, so that judgment that we were put under, man, was by the hand of the Heavenly Father. Okay, but yet, let's go down to verse 25. It says, Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, right? Delivering us, man, freeing us. Like I said, this is on our rest, man. If anything, Esau should have built that place back up and given it. Esau should have built that place back up and given it, or restored it, man. All right, giving it back unto Jake. All right, with even more so. But yet, they wouldn't do that because they would never allow Jake to thrive in that manner, man. To have their own cities and areas and even nations for that matter. All right, but yet it's going to be given unto us by the Heavenly Father, man, and he's going to put you Edomites where you belong, which is in shackles and in servitude, man. It says, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name, because what has happened to us, man. We were put to shame. All right. The Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Father's name that he put upon us was made to be shameful, man. So now Esau is being put to shame, you see? This is Ecclesiastes 3:18. It says, I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men. Oh, Salakia, that's not the 3:15. That's what I'm looking for. That which hath been is that which it. Salakia. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past. Okay, so like you saw in this article, man, all these things that they got away with, all right, a mass grave they even found. All right, they didn't pay for it, man. Look, as many as 300 black residents were killed. Almost forgotten by history. You see that? They got away with it, man. They covered everything up. and went along living their lives after they were killing children, women. All right, they were probably raping. All right, because this devil's a damn devil, man. All right, he went in there and probably did the most wicked things that we could even imagine and got away with it. But yet, what did the Heavenly Father say, man? Let's read it one more time. It says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past, right? He requires that which is past, man. All right, you're going to pay for these things. All right, you got a heavy toll to pay, man. A heavy bill to pay. And it's going to be paid in full, man. Actually double according to the scriptures. All right, so anyway, I saw that news article this morning and thought it would be edifying, for a lesson. Esau's being exposed, man. And as he gets backed further and further into this corner, he's going to have no choice but to pounce, man. And he's already making those moves as well. But Lord willing, it's edifying unto the elect. I want to once again give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, and peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom.